بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Last time where we left off in Surah Yusuf, we mentioned regarding how the seduction process happened, where the wife of the Aziz started to try and seduce Yusuf alayhi salam, and then got caught in the act when Yusuf alayhi salam was running away, and then the shirt was pulled, and then the whole story goes on where they found out, the wife of, the husband of the Aziz came and then found out regarding what's happened. So then they were looking at the evidences, examining what was the evidences, what happened there. The witness came, they saw the shirt, they saw how she was dressed, they saw the conduct of Yusuf alayhi salam. They mentioned all the details, extreme explanations of what happened, what didn't happen, and so forth. And then they eventually came up to a conclusion. So they said, فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِن دُبُرٍ. When they saw the qamis and it was ripped from the back, then they said, this has to be of the wife's coming. قَالَ إِنَّهُ مِن كَيْدِكُنْ. And then they mentioned here, this is definitely from the trickery of you, O women. It's from your trickery. إِنَّ كَيْدَكُنَّ عَظِيمٌ. Your trickery is indeed very dangerous. This is also a important point here, where he's got all of the evidences. He's got everything going against this woman, his own wife. His own wife has done some trickery, done some deception, lied, slandered, lie after lie, lie after lie, and then he sees what's happening in front. So what is his kind of reaction towards this? He goes and says, this is the trickery of you, of women. Kaydakun, it's to do with the plural of women. So it's women's deceptions, women's trickery, and usually when it comes down to this situation, a lot of the times it's involved with women, and this is now just the truth of the matter. So in this section, this is what he has mentioned. He also mentioned that inna kayda kunna azim, that your plotting was of a high standard, meaning you went through a lot just to try and do what you had to try and do. You had locked the doors, you had dressed up, you had called him at this time, you had made sure that I wasn't here, and all of these things. Allah mentions in the Quran regarding the shaitan's deception or the shaitan's plotting. What does Allah mention about the plot of shaitan? It's what? Makkar. What is this makkar? You mentioned this is azim, but the shaitan's one is da'if. Makkar shaitanu da'ifa. Shaitan's deception, his plotting, his planning is weak. But when it comes to these women, what happens? It's azim. It's being mentioned in a way where it's something of big. So Allah mentions regarding how high level of how the woman's deception is and what low level of shaitan's deception is. Meaning that something which is deception, meaning something which is very clear in front of us. Women are in front of us. Very clear in how they do certain things. Yet we still fall into their traps. We still fall into the traps. When you see a woman and then we get involved with women and how they are and how we are with them and so forth, and how men is with women, and then it's very hard to try. So their trickery is very different. When it comes to shaitan, it's very hidden. It's in a different way, but still Allah mentions it's da'if. It's something which is a weak. So this is now also some of the scholars have mentioned regarding this, maybe in jest, maybe in reality, but there's always some truth in regarding these things as well. So Allah mentions regarding this one, regarding his the reaction of the Aziz. Allah then mentions in the next, what is the reaction of the Aziz? He says, Yusuf a'rid an hada. Oh Yusuf, overlook what has just happened. We know exactly what has happened to you. I realize what's happened to you. Overlook this. So look at what the Aziz is saying. Aziz is saying, overlook what's happening. I know this is now my wife. I know what she has tried to do. I know the plotting that's happened. and only 4 people were there to witness it. Yani, it was the Aziz, it was the wife, it was Yusuf, and the Shahid that came. It was the witness that also came. These are the only 4 people. So this plotting was evil, and it was mighty. So Yusuf, please turn away from this. Don't overlook this, what's happened. Forgive and forget. This is what he's trying to say to Yusuf. Pretend it never happened. Pretend it never happened. And then he turns towards his wife and says, وَاسْتَغْفِرِي لِذَنْبِكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرِي لِذَنْبِكَ. Oh woman, seek forgiveness for your sin. إِنَّكِ كُنْتِ مِنَ الْخَاطِئِينَ. You are truly of the sinners. You are truly of the sinners. Make istighfar, O woman. O wife of mine, make istighfar. So remember this. The whole town, the whole city, are there any Muslims? No. They're not Muslims. Only Yusuf alayhi salam is the only Muslim there at the time. So, where did the word istighfar come from? Why go and make istighfar for your sin or for your thing that you done bad? Why isn't there such a major incident? Why is there such a low punishment for the women? Go and make istighfar, you're finished. That's the end of the story. Why not give her punishment? Why not whatever, chuck her in jail or divorce or this or something? Why is there no punishment given from the Aziz towards his wife? Nothing at all. He just said, oh, go and make istighfar. Go and make istighfar. So this is a bit of a ajib kind of reaction. That's it. Nothing else. There's no other punishments. So then, one of the reasons why this has been mentioned is that it could be a one-time mistake, or it's the first time you've done it. Possible. It could be that he underestimated the power or underestimated the lust that the woman had for Yusuf, and just maybe let Yusuf roam around like normal, and then underestimated his beauty and so forth. Or most likely, it's because he's the Aziz and he's got some honor, and if this word gets out, and this is going to hurt his ego, it's going to hurt his honor, and nobody wants this kind of accusations not only coming to him, but his family as well. So he tries to brush it underneath the carpet. Okay, nothing happened. You know what, just make istighfar for what you have done, and we'll leave it at this. Oh Yusuf, please overlook this. Pretend it never happened. So this is his reaction towards the sin. This is the reaction towards his wife, his own wife trying to commit adultery, but yet this is it. This is what's happening, and this is his reaction towards it. Remember this, he says that istighfar, make istighfar. They're not Muslims, why make istighfar? They're not Muslims. The Aziz is not Muslim, the wife is not Muslim. Why make istighfar? So number one is probably make istighfar to their gods. Whatever their gods they believe and they worship and so, make istighfar towards them. And infidelity is still a sin. To have in the society we live nowadays and even in the past, we find that before marriage, you'll have to have premarital sex, you had to have premarital arrangements. For them in the past, or for them now, especially nowadays in society, it's allowed. People allow it. Or before marriage, you do what you want. Or you can be with whoever you want. Or even, it doesn't matter, with the same gender, different gender, whatever it is, you can do what you want. This is allowed for their, society says this is allowed. And then they allow it. But when it comes to in marriage, once you're in marriage, now when someone sins or someone is unfaithful, then there is a sort of kind of society says, no, you've been unfaithful. Having an affair is frowned upon. Being involved in extramarital relationship while in a marriage, then this is something which is society says there's still something there. There's still some sort of punishment. There's still some sort of frowning upon. There's still something there which happens. Istighfar, do make istighfar. Have some forgiveness there. That's still there when coming to this. So naturally, throughout history, you will see this as well. In the marriage, and if someone breaks that marriage because of extramarital relationships or affairs or something, yes, then make istighfar. Everyone will agree towards this. But before marriage, do what you want. After marriage, or if there's no marriage, then do what you want. This is how society is there. So he mentions this. Infidelity is still a sin, and make istighfar because we're still in a form of marriage. So do this as well. So this now has been mentioned now. He goes and just gives him a light punishment towards his wife. Very light punishment. And says forgive it. The next part is, I'll mention the next part, is to do with gossiping and to do with how gossip spreads like wildfire. So Allah mentions here, وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ إِمْرَةُ عَزِيزُ تَرَابِطُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا إِنَّا لَنَرَاهَا فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Some woman of the town said, the minister's wife attempts to seduce her slave against his will. Love has certainly overwhelmed her. In our opinion, she is certainly in clear, open, manifest error. She's done something wrong. So basically the rumor has now spread. They tried to keep it secret, but now the secret has got out. Now everyone knew what she had done towards Yusuf, what she had done towards her slave. So everyone, all of the noble women of the town, all of the rich people, all of the ministers' wives, all of the people of the palace, everyone knows exactly what's happened between the wife of the Aziz and Yusuf. They know, and the rumors start spreading. And when one rumor starts to spread, and one person tells another person, they start to add more masala. They add more thing to the story. Oh no, this happened as well. Oh, there was two involved. Oh, there was many involved. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. And they start to add more to make the story more juicier, to make the story more interesting. They add more things and they add more things. So all of these rumors are spreading around the town, all about this one woman, about what she had done towards Yusuf, or she tried to do towards Yusuf. So all of this is now mulling all around the town. And when all of your friends who are noble nature, all of the people who are rich as well, and they're all coming and they're all talking behind your back, and they're saying this rumor happened, and they're looking at you differently, and they're talking behind your back, it hurts the person. So it's hurting the minister's wife. This wife of the Aziz, Imratu Aziz, is hurting her. She feels it. She feels everyone's making this about me, everyone's talking about me behind my back. And so she's now had this she's in this kind of situation. So remember this, that gossip, scandals. Look what Islam says about scandals, about gossip, about all of these different things. Once one thing spreads to another person, when we have Chinese whispers, we sit in a group, we say Chinese whispers. One person has a sentence, he says to his neighbor the sentence. And then the person says to his neighbor the sentence. And it goes around. By the time it goes around the whole circle, it's a completely new sentence. Completely new. Why? Because people can't hear properly. People don't understand properly. Maybe they only take part of the sentence and then it goes around, and that's how it happens. So this is gossip happens as well. Sometimes there's something truth which happens. And then when it comes to the next person, then it spreads like everywhere, then the whole story changes. So she's feeling it. This is not what happened, and something's she's feeling it basically. So remember this, there's a few things that could happen when a person starts to spread news. One is ghiba. One is ghiba. Ghiba means backbiting. Backbiting is that I say something behind your back, something which is not nice obviously, even if it's true. Even if it's true. But let's say I say something behind your back, and if it's not nice, it's something which is evil, or something which is not good, and you don't like it, that if you were to hear it behind the person's back, you wouldn't like it. Even though it may be true, it may be false, but it's ghiba. It's backbiting. And then obviously there is this is against disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands. Even he says that adab al-qabr comes for the person that backbites. One of the highest level of sins a person does when regarding other people. So it's adab al-qabr for the person that backbites. So this is also been mentioned. When you find the different type of ones of gossiping, you find buhdan. Buhdan is such where it spreads, it's blatant lie. You're just lying against the person. Somebody is over there and you're lying, you're slandering them, you're lying completely against them. It's obviously against Islam as well. And many adab has been mentioned regarding this. And the other one we say is namima. Namima. We say namima. Anyone heard of namima? No? Namima. Namima is you're doing the job of shaitan. You know when a person is saying something behind someone's back, or there's something, not really something happened, maybe it's an argument. So what do? Or someone is involved in something and the other person's not here. So you go on to the other person and say, look what that person said. You know what that person said about you. Or I wouldn't have that. Or he should be doing this. You should go and speak to him. Or you should go and do this to him. Or you should go and puncture his tire. Or because he's like this. And then you go to the other person and you start to spark the fire between you and spark the flames. So then you can have a fight and you can argue. And now you're telling two people, you're breaking the relationship between two people. You go in there and you say something over there, oh, this person said this person said that. Then you go to the other person, you say this person said this person said that. And now you're creating arguments and you're creating fights between people. This is also been mentioned as well regarding this, and if a person that does this will never ever enter Jannah. Never enter Jannah for the person that does this. You're literally doing the job of shaitan. Shaitan's job is to go and whisper between these two people, and you're doing it for him. So when a person you're involved in gossip, you're involved in slandering, you're involved in backbiting, there's something there that's happening in front of you. Number one, you don't even spread it. That shouldn't leave the whole group Number two, or number one, I should say, is that either defend the person in his absence. Always try to defend the person. Always say, no, this person is not right, this person is not wrong, he's like this, he's good, he's like this. Defend the person. Number one thing, as a Muslim, you defend the honor of your other Muslim brother. You defend him fully. You say, this person is a good person. Even though something may be true, you work your way out that you stop the person from now backbiting, or stop the people from backbiting. So this is now extremely important to try and do this. Defend the person, and obviously if you cannot do it, and if you cannot stop them, then do not spread it even further. We find a very famous example in the Quran, and in the time of the Seerah about Aisha radiallahu anha, when she was also slandered upon. Some people made it up, blatant lie about our mother Aisha radiallahu anha. So when obviously that is completely wrong. To make it up and to slander is wrong. But in some people were involved in the gossiping and rumor mongering and spreading of this evil. Some of the Sahaba were involved as well. So then Allah talks about, no, you don't even do that as well. You rather say this is hada buhtanun azim. Stop it in its tracks. Don't let the rumor spread. And if it's a lie with it, don't let this rumor spread. This is not what Muslims are. So this is now what has happened at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, that now the rumor has spread. It's gone like wildfire, and she's feeling it. The wife of the Aziz, she's wrong, but she's feeling it. So now the second plot starts to come into the mind of the wife of Aziz. The first plot, she didn't learn from the first plot. She was caught in the first plot. She said, I'm going to do it for the second time. As Muslims, one of the lessons that we learn is that if we do something wrong, we're involved in something wrong, we make tawbah, we make istighfar, but we don't do it again. We don't think about doing it again. If I do something wrong, we make mistakes, it's fine. But if I make my istighfar, I've made my tawbah, I know it's wrong, I know I can't get involved in it, I know these are the steps to go towards it, I know sometimes I can't even go near that certain thing, because if I do, I'll fall into it. So then a mu'min does not get bitten from the same hole twice. We don't get involved in it. So this is now what she has done. She said, I'm going to make a second plot. I need to take my revenge on these women. They started to talk about me. They started to do this. I need to show who I am. I need to show that they're wrong. Or I need to show that what has happened is I need to teach them a lesson. So now the second plot starts to come and manifest in her mind. So they're having all of these women are starting to chatter. They have their little groups and they start to speak about the minister's wife and criticizing the incident and how could she do this to her slave, or can't she control herself, and all of these things that have been mentioned. So she wants revenge. In the next ayat, Allah mentions here when فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَعْتَدْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً وآتت كل واحدة منهن سكينة وقالت اخرج عليهن فلما رأينه أكبرنه وقطعن أيديهن وقلنا حاشا لله ما هذا بشرا إن هذا إلا ملك كريم. Now it's the second plot, and now she's not only thinking of it, she makes plans for it. But what is the second plot? So the woman had obviously plot to see, they want to see Yusuf. All of the women of the town, they want to see who is this boy, who is this man that has tried to or fallen under the guise of the wife of the Aziz. Who is this? We want to go and see him. They're all talking about him and they're all trying to plot regarding this. So the wife of the Aziz has found out that, you know what, these people are trying to see Yusuf. Let's go and make a plan. Let's go and make a plan. She prepares a feast. She prepares a banquet. She prepares a da'wah. She says, this is it. Everyone's going to come to my place, my palace. And now I'm going to feed everybody. I'm going to go and feed everybody. So all of the noble women of the town or the city are now invited. They get the invitation and they all come to this banqueting hall, and they're all going to eat from the palace of the Aziz, and the wife will be there as well. So all of the noble ladies are going to be there. There's a magnificent feast there, food is there, everything is there. So food is put out, and then muttaka'a. What happens? أرسلت إليهن وأعتد لهن متكأ. They get a nice little cushion which they're reclining, and now they're going to be relaxing. All of the women, they're going to be relaxing, they're going to be eating, and now they're going to have their chai afterwards and their tea, and they're going to be relaxing and so forth. So they're going to have their dessert. So all of this is happening. And now she's got everything ready. Perfect plan. She's got everything ready. So all the couches are ready, she's resting, they're reclining, and dessert time comes. So they're all they're going to give out the dessert now. What is the dessert usually in that time? Sweet fruits. So just fruits. Any kind of fruits which is sweet. Oranges or something like this, or apples or whatever it is. But there's certain things that needs cutting. So she hands them all of the fruits and a knife to go with it. So then they can cut open and they can eat it. So this is perfectly planned. At the same time, while they have the knives in their hand and they're going to enjoy and they're reclining, they just had a full belly of food. Now they're relaxed and now they want some entertainment or something like this, and they've got the knife ready. So she waits while all of the ladies have their knives in their hands and they're cutting, and she says that وَقَالَتْ اخْرُجْ عَلَيْهِنْ. Now call him out. Call him. Now call Yusuf. So now Yusuf has to come, whether it's for a normal khidmah, normal service. Now Yusuf is being called out, and obviously he's just doing his normal work. He's saying whatever the wife of the Aziz says, I'll just go and bring out. Maybe it's plates, maybe it's this, whatever it is. I have to go and bring it out. Now what happens is that فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَهُ, all of the women see. All the women see him. أَكْبَرُنَهُمْ. What did they say? They were shocked, but they praised him. Wow. It's like a wow. أَكْبَرُنَهُ, they praised him and they were taken aback regarding his beauty and astonished by seeing his extreme handsomeness. And then وَقَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيهُنْ, while eating and while looking and mesmerized and while cutting, they start to cut their own hands at the same time. Start to cut their own hands. They're like this, completely mesmerized about what they're seeing in Yusuf. And remember that we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave 50% of the beauty of this whole world to Yusuf alayhi salam. The other 50% was to the rest of the world. 50% was given to him. So he was handsome. He was very handsome. So he had this as well. They couldn't control themselves at all. And they were saying, this cannot be a human being. This must be a noble angel. قُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا. This is unbelievable. Allah is pure. This cannot be human. There has to be some sort of angel. And they believed in angels. They had some sort of notion of angels and his beauty and so forth. This must be an angel. And they're cutting their hands. And obviously, while they're cutting their hands, who's smiling? Is the wife of the Aziz. She's like, that's it, it's perfect. Now I've got my revenge. Now they're cutting their hands. Now what are you saying behind my back? How dare you say rumors? How dare you? Now look what I'm doing. Look what I have to deal with. You are there for one moment and you saw him and you cut your hands. I have to be there the whole day with him. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. This is why it happened. This is why I got trapped and tried to seduce Yusuf. This is why the reason. You couldn't handle 1 second. And now I'm handling this for years. So this is why, and this is how she has mentioned it. And she admitted it in front of everybody. This is what happened. Yes, I did do it. Openly, publicly, admits in front of all of the noble women that this has happened. Yes, I fell in love and I tried to do this. قالت فذلكن الذي لمتنني فيه. She said, this is what you were criticizing me for. Now you realize. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ فَاسْتَعْصَمْ. So publicly, remember this is like a very high level of like lust. They just eaten, and then all of the women at the time, they're all lusting after Yusuf at this moment. They all, they all want Yusuf. So فَاسْتَعْصَمْ. So he says that indeed I attempted to seduce him against his will, but he escaped. فَاسْتَعْصَمْ, he escaped. He escaped from my clutches. So this obviously knows about not only he's got outer beauty, but he's got inner beauty as well. He's got good qualities. He's got good character. So don't just worry about the outer beauty generally. She was only involved in the outer beauty, but she realized that he's also a good person. He didn't fall into the trap, but he also tried to escape, and he escaped from me. So he saw that he's got good qualities as well. He's not just outer beauty, but it's inner beauty as well. And this is what we always look at. When a person is wanting to get married or looking for someone, maybe the children are wanting to get married. You don't not only look for outer beauty, but something which is inner beauty, good qualities. You look for good qualities for your son's spouses or your daughter's spouses. You look for something which is good qualities as well. What kind of qualities he has? So in the same way, she is also beautifying the character of Yusuf alayhi salam as well. So he's saying that I desire him, and the whole full room of women, of noble women, of rich women, of beauty, they're all desiring him at this moment. So what does he do now? Now he was trapped with one woman and it was hard. Now he's got a whole room full of women. Now what does he do? So she says very boldly, very clearly, and very publicly, and this is lewd and this is immoral. And she says that وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي وَلَئِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا أَمَرُهُ لَيُسْجَنَنَّ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. So he says that if he does not do as I command him, he shall certainly be in prison, and he will definitely become of the humiliated ones. So if he, I have a full desire for him now. If he doesn't listen to me, if he doesn't obey what I'm going to do with him, and I want to tell him what to do, then he's going to go into prison, and he'll be from the humiliated people. So look at the response of Yusuf alayhi salam. Full room of women wanting him, and now the master, his own master, the wife of the Aziz, is saying, I'm going to have you now, I'm going to, and so forth. Like public, very publicly she's saying this. So this is a beautiful and one of the most best kind of morals that we can learn just from this whole Surah Yusuf is this line here. And Yusuf alayhi salam says, قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. The prison is better for me. At this point, the prison is better for me for rather than what that towards which they are calling me towards. I'd rather go to the prison. So he said, any kind of escape, I would love to go to the prison. قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. Rather than these women that are calling me towards this. I would love to go, and I love prison. Remember this, who likes prison? Who wants prison? You had a choice between the two, you choose something else. You don't want to choose the prison. But now you're saying, I'd rather go to prison. Why? Because of the burning love and desire he had for Allah. That taqwa that he had for Allah. That fear of Allah. That burhan that came down and he saw and everything was there in front of him. He says, no, I cannot disobey my Lord. How dare I disobey my Lord when he's given me so much? He was in the darkness of the well where he came down and consolidated, and he consoled me. So many things he gave me. And then from that place, he took me to a palace. How dare I go and disobey my Lord? قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. He doesn't mention regarding what they're going to do. He didn't very specific evil wasn't mentioned. Just something that an evil that they're going to do. وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن أصب إليهم. Unless, oh ya Allah, unless you direct them away from me. Otherwise I'm going to be inclined towards it. He's human. Otherwise I'm going to be inclined. Take me away from this place. Otherwise I'm going to be inclined towards them. He didn't mention I'm going to do it. I'm going to be inclined to do it. Allah mentions in the Quran regarding zina. Doesn't say don't do zina. What does he say? Don't even go near it, man. Don't even go near it. Why? Because once you go near it, it's very tricky to try and get out of it. You'll easily slip in. So he says, I'm going to be inclined to it. He didn't even say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be inclined towards it. Take me away from it. وَلَا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدُهُنْ أَصْبُ إِلَيْهِنْ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. And then I'll become amongst of those who become ignorant and doing what they wanted them to do. So this is now how the great reply of Yusuf alayhi salam. Look at the situation he's in. Look at the trap that he's fallen into. Yet he says that falling into ignorance is like disobedience. When a person is disobedient, he's like he's ignorant of happening. He's negligent of what's happening around him. If he's disobeying Allah, he's like he's ignorant. You're disobeying Allah, you're looking at the wrong things, you're doing the wrong things. You're ignorant of what Allah's looking at you. You're ignorant. You just become ignorant. You become negligent of what's around you. So this is now also have been mentioned regarding this, and I'll finish on this that فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. So his Rabb accepted his prayer and turned their plot away from him. To preserve his chastity, Allah says, and basically he rejected of whatever the offer was, and then he was thrown into prison. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Undoubtedly Allah, he is all hearing, all knowing. ثُمَّ وَدَالَهُ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا رَأَوُا الْآيَاتِ لَيَسْجُنَّنَهُ حَتَّى حِينٍ. And after reviewing the evidence, realizing that Yusuf is innocent, obviously, reviewing the evidence, it occurred to them, the ministers and the wife and the Aziz and everyone, they gathered together that they should imprison him for a while. Why? So they can silence the rumors going around. They can silence all of the spreading and gossip and between other people and going around and trying to dishonor the name. Even though she said so publicly, they try to calm it down by saying, Yusuf, go to prison. You'd rather be in prison, better stay away from us and keep quiet in prison. So this is what they had done, and this is how it ended. And whatever Yusuf alayhi salam asked for, he got, and that was a better place for him. Prison, where we think is such a bad place, it was a better place for him at that point. Disobedience is far worse than prison. Disobedience of Allah is far worse than prison. Let's just imagine that, how we can think of prison, how tough prison is, how of a mental state a person can take. People take their own life in prison. It's physically tough, it's mentally tough. So many things can happen, yet disobedience is much more worse. Disobedience of Allah is much more worse. Every single time we think about disobedience, number one, we think of Allah. That should try and dumb it down. But at the same time, numb it down. But at the same time, going near disobedience is also going to cause trouble. He didn't even want to incline towards it. He didn't want to go near it, because he knows that if I go near it, then I'm going to be in trouble. How strong are we? How strong are we that sometimes something comes up towards us, we fall into it straight away? So you have to be very strong. How do we be very strong? Our heart needs to be looked after. The more bad things we look with our eyes, heart's going to become weaker. The more bad things we say with our tongue, the heart's becoming weaker. The more things that we listen to, which is incorrect, our hearts are going to become weaker. So all of these things are having an effect on the heart. All of these different things. So we've got to realize that we're in a state where we need to look after the heart and the channels towards the heart as well. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from all of the evil that's out there and protect us from disobedience. Allah grant us afiyah in all of our actions as well. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Jazakumullah.
Thank you.